The bystander effect is a well-documented phenomenon where people are less likely to intervene in an emergency situation when others are present. The history of the bystander effect can be traced back to the 1960s, when the murder of Kitty Genovese in New York City shocked the nation. Kitty Genovese was a young woman who was stabbed to death outside her apartment complex in Queens, New York in 1964. The murder took place over a period of 30 minutes, during which time several neighbors heard her cries for help, but no one intervened. It wasn't until the killer had left and Kitty was lying on the ground dying that a neighbor finally called the police. The case gained national attention and became known as the Kitty Genovese syndrome or the bystander effect. Psychologists began studying the phenomenon and found that the presence of other people in an emergency situation can lead to a diffusion of responsibility, where each person assumes that someone else will take action. One of the most famous experiments on the bystander effect was conducted by social psychologists John Darley and Bibb Lathane in 1968. They staged a series of emergencies, such as smoke pouring into a room or a person having a seizure, and observed how long it took for people to respond. They found that the more people who were present, the longer it took for someone to take action. That the bystander effect is not just a phenomenon of the past, it continues to play out in modern-day society. In 2015, a video surfaced of a woman being dragged off a subway train in San Francisco. The other passengers on the train did nothing to intervene, even as the woman screamed for help. Similarly, in 2016, a man was beaten and robbed on a busy street in Chicago, while dozens of people walked by without stopping to help. In both cases, the presence of other people seemed to lead to a diffusion of responsibility where everyone assumed that someone else would take action. But there are also stories of individuals who have defied the bystander effect and stepped in to help in an emergency. In 2018, a man in Oregon jumped into action when he saw a woman being attacked in a parking lot. He fought off the attacker and stayed with the victim until the police arrived. And in 2019, a group of bystanders in London worked together to lift a double-decker bus off a cyclist who had been hit by the bus. They were able to free the cyclist and save his life. The history of the bystander effect is a reminder of the power of social influence and the importance of taking action in an emergency. It can be easy to assume that someone else will take responsibility, but in reality, every individual has the power to make a difference. The Kitty Genovese case may have been a tragic example of the bystander effect, but it also sparked a national conversation about the importance of taking action and standing up for what is right. And that conversation continues today as we strive to create a society where everyone feels empowered to help others in need.